It's past midnight in a cramped one-bedroom apartment. The only light comes from a dying lamp in the corner, flickering weakly against the cracked walls. A half-empty coffee mug sits beside a pile of unopened bills, scattered job rejection emails glowing on a dusty laptop screen. The room is silent except for the low hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic outside. Emma, the main character, sits on the cold wooden floor, knees pulled tight to her chest. Her hands tremble as she runs them through her hair, eyes swollen from crying. She's been here for hours, staring at nothing and everything all at once. She glances at an old photograph pinned to the wall, a picture of her younger self, smiling, surrounded by friends. That version of her feels like a stranger now. The woman in the photo had dreams. This one is just tired. The clock ticks loudly. Each second feels heavier than the last. Emma whispers to herself, barely audible, "I can't do this anymore." Her voice cracks. The words hang in the air, painful and real. She grabs one of the unpaid bills and folds it tightly in her hands, as if she could crush her problems into silence. A tear drops onto the paper, smudging the ink. The light flickers again, almost completely fading before glowing back to life. Emma looks up, exhausted but still breathing. That flicker becomes a quiet symbol, fragile, but still burning. She exhales slowly, her chest rising and falling. For the first time, there's a hint of surrender, not to defeat, but to the truth that something has to change. The night feels endless, but the faintest trace of dawn begins to touch the window. Morning sunlight filters through the fog as Emma walks down the street, her hood pulled low, trying to disappear into the noise of the city. Her eyes are tired, her steps heavy. She clutches a few crumpled dollars in her pocket, just enough for a cup of coffee. The bell above the cafe door jingles as she walks in. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and baked pastries fills the air. People are laughing, typing on laptops, meeting friends. It all feels like a different world, one she no longer belongs to. She orders the cheapest drink on the menu and sits in a quiet corner near the window. The coffee is lukewarm, but it warms her shaking hands. She stares blankly outside, watching strangers rush by, wondering how they all seem to have it figured out. At the next table, an older man notices her, Mr. Carter, a retired teacher with kind eyes. After a few moments, he leans over gently. "Rough morning?" he asks softly. Emma hesitates, startled. She forces a weak smile. "Something like that," he nods knowingly. "I've had plenty of those." He pauses, then slides a small muffin toward her. "They made too many. Help me out, would you?" For a moment, Emma just stares at it, at him, unsure what to say. It's such a small thing, but it feels enormous. She finally nods, whispering, "Thank you." They talk for a few minutes about nothing in particular, the weather, the smell of coffee, his favorite books. But something shifts. The silence inside her isn't as heavy anymore. As she leaves the cafe, the air feels a little lighter. She looks back through the window and smiles faintly. For the first time in a long while, she doesn't feel completely invisible. The afternoon sun glows softly over a quiet park. Emma sits on a worn wooden bench facing a still lake, its surface mirroring the sky. The world feels slower here, no buzzing phones, no deadlines, no noise. Just the sound of birds and the faint rustle of wind through the trees. She pulls out an old photo from her bag, creased, faded, edges torn. It's her and her friends from years ago, laughing so hard that one of them is almost falling out of the frame. She traces her finger over her younger face. That girl's smile was bright, unguarded. She wonders when it disappeared. A memory rises, summer nights filled with music, late night drives with windows down, her mother's voice telling her, "You're stronger than you think." For the first time in months, Emma lets herself remember. The warmth of it both hurts and heals. A small child nearby laughs as he chases a balloon across the grass. His joy is pure and effortless. Emma can't help but smile. Something stirs inside her, faint, fragile, but real. She whispers to herself, "Maybe I'm not done yet." The words surprise her. They sound foreign, but hopeful. She leans back, closing her eyes, feeling the sun on her face. The lake ripples as a gentle breeze passes. The photo slips from her hand, landing beside her on the bench. She picks it up carefully, folds it, and tucks it back into her bag, not as a reminder of what's lost, but of what still lives inside her. For the first time in a long while, Emma doesn't feel broken, just unfinished. The world around her hasn't changed, but something within her quietly has. Hope, small and stubborn, has begun to breathe again. It's early morning, the kind of quiet that only exists before the world fully wakes. Emma stands outside a small community center, clutching a flyer that reads, "Free Skill Workshop, New Beginnings." She hesitates at the door, her heartbeat loud in her ears. Part of her wants to turn back, but something, that faint spark of hope, keeps her there. Inside, a few people sit at folding tables, chatting softly. A woman at the front greets her with a smile. "You must be Emma. Welcome. Grab a seat anywhere." Her voice is kind, without pity. That simple warmth steadies Emma's shaking hands. The first hour feels awkward. She hasn't spoken to strangers in weeks. Her voice is rusty, her confidence thinner than paper. But as the class goes on, learning basic computer skills, sharing stories of lost jobs, failed plans, new dreams, something begins to shift. There's laughter when someone makes a typing mistake. Encouragement when another person shares how hard life's been. Emma listens, and for once, she feels understood. She's not the only one rebuilding from broken pieces. During a short break, a young mother beside her says, "It's tough, huh?" Starting over, Emma nods. "Yeah, but maybe it's tougher to stay where I was." The woman smiles. "Exactly." When the class ends, Emma lingers by the door. The instructor hands her a small certificate of completion, just a simple piece of paper, but it feels heavy with meaning. She looks at it and smiles, really smiles, for the first time in a long time. As she steps outside, the air feels different, fresher, lighter. The sun is warm on her face. She walks away not as who she was, but as who she's slowly becoming. The sky is painted in shades of gold and pink as dawn breaks over the city. Emma stands on a rooftop, the cool morning breeze brushing against her face. Below, the streets are just beginning to stir, the world waking up, full of motion and sound. She takes a deep breath, her chest rising slowly, her eyes calm and steady. It's been months since that night on her apartment floor. The same woman who once whispered, "I can't do this anymore," now stands tall, not because everything is perfect, but because she didn't give up. In her hands, she holds a small notebook filled with scribbles, goals, dreams, reminders. On the first page, written in shaky handwriting, are the words, "Start again." She flips to a blank page and writes, "Keep going." The sun peaks higher, spilling light across her face. Her hair moves gently in the wind, and she closes her eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth. The pain of the past is still there, but it no longer defines her. It taught her. It rebuilt her. She thinks of the stranger at the cafe, the laughter in the park, the workshop where she met others like her, broken, but rebuilding. All those moments stitched together to form the person standing here now. Emma looks out at the horizon, the city stretching endlessly ahead. With a faint smile, she whispers to herself, "Life broke me once, but hope built me again." Her voice doesn't tremble this time. It's steady, full of quiet strength. As the first full rays of sunlight wash over her, Emma turns and walks toward the stairwell, her steps light, sure, alive. The day has just begun, and so has she.